Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moonlight. This is Dave Johnson, and I am channeling Man and Moon. Today, I'm going to look at Trump, Michael Flynn, and Putin, and just sort of see what they are thinking right now. Starting with the Donald. Donald is very worried. He's rushing from point A to point B. He's rushing to put out fires. It's somebody who spent their life creating chaos, who's now living with chaos. He's very desperate. There are many people who think that Trump won't be indicted. I don't agree. I think that he will be indicted, and I think that he will go to jail. But Trump also thinks that. He thinks that this is more serious than he believed, and he knows the numbers are going down for him. He also knows that this is it. If his numbers go down, he goes to jail. The only thing that's stopping the Democrats is the fact that he might succeed in court or something like that. Liz Cheney knows what's going on. Do not doubt her power. She knows exactly what's going on. This really is one of those battles of sort of power and integrity. And Liz Cheney has finally done what most political leaders haven't. She's got Trump on the run. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's calculating, like literally, like when to drop the bombs, and those bombs are not literal at all. She's thinking. I get like three major bang, bang, bang for Trump. It could be like his kids. I think that's a very real possibility that they will be indicted. But there are three major events that are going to happen before Trump really faces the music. So, very interesting image. I usually see Trump about to get on a plane and escape, but this time he's actually on a boat. He's at the prow of the boat, but he's like a drug dealer on the run. He keeps looking behind himself. What's coming? What's coming? He gets to an island. He's in his suit, but he jumps out into the water, so it's like ankle, knee deep, and he goes towards a lighthouse. It's interesting though. He's alone, and he's there at the base of the lighthouse, and he actually doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he should call more attention to himself. This is the first time he's ever had this problem. Should I call more attention to myself or less? So should I go to the top of the lighthouse and turn on the light? Maybe I shouldn't this time. He really isn't sure what to do. And that's exactly where, Liz Cheney wants him, not knowing what to do next. The more he talks, the more his people talk, the more in trouble he gets. So at the same time, he's got to promote himself on TV. Every time he opens his mouth, he says something incriminating. So he is even a little bit worried about what Republicans might do. They didn't support him becoming the supreme master before, so he knows that they're not happy with him. It used to be that he didn't care, but just Trump's powers are fading. He keeps trying to do this like magic thing with his hands, like send electricity through them, but they don't work. He is very worried about his daughter talking, and he's worried about Melania. He's goes from being furious with them to being really over the top nice. Both of those things are happening at all times. He's taking a lot of the meds that give him energy. They're kind of like legal speed. He is a desperate man. Do not underestimate this. Trump is absolutely desperate. He is at his most desperate point as his numbers are sinking. Ron DeSantis right now would beat him if he were running for the nomination for Republican. But even he's getting a sense the whole Republican brand is starting to fade. It's not helping that Russia is rattling, and he is really responsible for the fact that Russia is threatening Ukraine. Other Republicans know this, and it's not sitting well with them either. Yeah, I still see Trump escaping one way or another. It might be psychological. It might be that the airplane that I always see is symbolic. It tends to be that way. And it's an interpretation of escapism. But I still see him very frightened and wanting to escape and trying to really basically trying to hide. So let's move on to Flynn. Flynn is an angry man. And that's what it comes down to. All of this happened because he was angry, because he didn't get the power that he wanted. He's an absolute spoiled little brat. He thinks only of himself and maybe a little bit about his son, who he sort of covered up for, but not much about anyone else. It bothers him only a little that many people have contempt for him and consider him a traitor. Just a little tiny bit it bothers him. Mostly he couldn't care less. His mind is that of a teenager, really. And I don't mean to put down teenagers, but just that level of insophistication. They're totally self-involved. He doesn't quite know what to do regarding January 6th Commission. He's still thinking about what his plan will be, that he knows that this is trouble for him. I see him crying in court, like finally losing his marbles as he cries in court. So I'm just going to ask, are you going to confess everything? He says no. Are you going to confess something? He says yes. He's going to start out with little confessions, but they will build. So let's go to Putin. Definitely doing some protection here. Pyramid. Great. Okay. I always like to do that, especially before characters like him. Well, he's sort of enjoying being in the spotlight. At the same time, he's not entirely happy with how this is happening. They're all going to pretend that they're happy with it, but he's not. He's not so certain how the people will react. They will react well if it looks like it's a win, even if he doesn't invade. That would be actually the best thing for him. It would be ideal if he could get Ukraine to agree to not become part of NATO. NATO may just do that and say, okay, for the next 10 years, we won't become part of NATO, or make some offer like that. It's not a big offer, like you can promise that, and in 5 years go say, sorry, we changed our mind. Ukraine can really doesn't anticipate being part of NATO in 10 years anyway, so that would be a win for him. It looks like he extorted something. Entering Ukraine may not be a big win. For one thing, he doesn't know what the West will do, so he's contemplating and getting what he wants out of it by just moving the troops around. Another few concessions would be nice. He's got everybody off the topic of Crimea, so that's a win for him. So I'm just going to ask him, so you're just going to stop here? He doesn't know, but he's also not telling me the truth, right? So he says, well, I don't know, but it's one of those things where he's being very cagey. Well, tell me really. What he really wants is Russia to have the power that it used to, but it never will. So it's not really a win for him. It's a political, extension for him. It'll play nicely in the next election, but they're not fair elections anyway. They're not democratic. So what difference does it make? It's really just about his ego and him trying to do something. It's not entirely successful. Yeah, he believes that the U.S. may attack. He believes that someone will attack if he enters Ukraine. And that may well be true. I'm getting like Biden chipping in, like, hey, I might go ahead and just do this all remotely. There's no need to send a single person in there. You can do it all remotely. So this standoff is very interesting because it actually has given Biden a chance to show his mettle and his ability to be diplomatic. So it's looking like a better win for Biden than it is for Putin, who's really not going to get anything out of this but a stated agreement. All right. So I'm getting that's all. Thanks so much for watching.